Hello, and a very warm welcome to yet another Tuesdays at 2, episode number 96. I'm Martin Buckland, and I'm an executive career management practitioner, and I help people like you manage and advance their careers. So each week on Tuesdays at 2, a different topic, but please don't keep it to today's topic. If you have something on your mind, please comment and you want to ask me a question. I encourage questions, I promote questions because I want to help you with your career management. So please put your questions in the comments below as we go through this presentation and I will answer them. So today's topic is what not to do, in a job search. So many things. Wow, I could keep you till breakfast tomorrow morning. It's a whole long laundry list of things not to do, but here are my main ones. So treat it as a full-time gig. It's like anything. The more hours you put into a job search, or the more hours you put into anything, the more rewards will come your way. If you are in career transition, my term for you're unemployed is you need to treat this as a full-time gig. Don't just sit on the couch, be a couch potato, and think that jobs, HR people, executive recruiters are going to come to you. You need to be very proactive. You need to put a lot of time and effort into a job search. So pre-plan your job search. Don't let your spouse or your kids interrupt you when you are conducting a job search. Don't don't be complacent. Even though we are in a very robust hiring recruitment across the world, and I am a global, very hot, all functions, all industries, all levels. Don't be complacent. There again, more hours you put in, the more rewards you will come your way. So don't be a couch potato. Don't be complacent and give it your all. Give it your all. So first impressions count. We judge somebody within a few short seconds, whether it's in person or by the marketing collateral, i.e., your resume, your CV, and your LinkedIn profile portrays. So a resume is a very, very succinct, very detailed document today. But not just is it read by human beings, before it's read by human beings, it's read by ATS, Applicant Tracking System. So you are being screened by technology invariably before you are read. Your resume, your CV is read by human beings. So you need to make sure your CV, your resume, doesn't matter where you are in the world, is ATS friendly. Now, what does ATS friendly mean? Well, if you go to my YouTube channel, and please press the subscribe button, there are quite a few videos on how to build an ATS, Applicant Tracking System resume. So do yourself a favor. You don't want to be counted out simply because you don't have an ATS resume. You could be the perfect candidate and have 130% of all the assets and attributes, the skills that they are looking for. But if your resume is going to be screened by ATS and 95% of them are, you will be counted out. You won't even get a call for an interview. So make sure your resume is ATS friendly. First impressions count for the human eyes and for that scanning machinery. So also have a cover letter. So a resume takes you from today backwards. It's a historical document. And a cover letter written in the personal pronoun, the word I, my, he or she, takes you from today forwards. Resume backwards, history, cover letter forwards. As many people don't read a cover letter, but be prepared. You never know. You don't want to count, here again, you don't want to count yourself out just because of one missing thing. You made an error in not having a cover letter. So tell the reader, there's many different types of cover letters. Therefore, there again, go to my YouTube channel and you can find out the different types, the different of cover letters, depending on the audience you are sending your resume to. Please come forward with some comments. I'm more than happy to answer them. As any questions to do with career management, something on your mind, doesn't have to be related to today's topic. So a big mistake in job search is not to have an ATS friendly resume and not to have a cover letter. Next one is no, like zero LinkedIn presence. Sadly, so many people don't know the benefit that LinkedIn can bring them. It's a huge tool. I know for everybody that's watching live today and watching the replay, there is an executive recruiter or an HR professional or somebody else of influence watching or looking for talent like you. But one of the screening processes, one of the databases, one of the tools that they use is LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn presence, you won't be found. It's simple as that. But not only should you have a LinkedIn presence, you should also be active on LinkedIn. Don't be passive. Even when you're gainfully employed, you might want a call from an executive recruiter or somebody else of influence who's going to offer you very close to that dream job. And they're looking for talent like you right this minute, right now. So make sure you are active. So sharing content, building content, commenting. So show your activity on LinkedIn. When you're gainfully employed, you don't have to be as active as when you are in career transition, but still just don't be dormant. Don't just die off the LinkedIn vine and then wake up when you are next in career transition. It doesn't happen that way. So be active and have a fully complete LinkedIn profile. Another don't is never submit your resume late. Now, generally, advertised jobs, there's no rule of thumb here, but they're generally advertised jobs have a run rate, a run time. They go between 4 and 5 weeks. So you've got plenty of opportunities. If you believe that you are the perfect candidate, you have all the skills, all the attributes for that job. Build a business case by customizing your your resume, your CV, and having a cover letter pinpointing why they, the hiring authorities, should call you over Mary, Mark, or Paul. Anybody got any comments? Please feel free to put them in. Questions, comments. More than happy to answer them as I go through this. So submitting your resume late, had plenty of time. Yeah, you might see this the day before it closes, in which case you really need to get your act together and have your resume, customize your resume, and have a prepared cover letter pinpointing why you should be called. But generally, if you see it earlier on in that time, advertise, put it in as soon as you see it. Once you've got that business case, you put that compelling reason why they should call you. Another don't is never ever be late for an interview. I hear quite a few times from executive recruiters and HR professionals that their candidates they have lined up for interviews that day are late. There is no excuse for being late. So if you got a long distance to go, stay in a hotel overnight if it's going to be an in-person, or don't come on Zoom or Teams or WebEx late. Make sure you are the first one there. Make sure you are there when they come online, but make sure if it's in person that you are there in plenty of time. Have what they call a dry run. You must know, well, Google can give you, if you're traveling by car, an estimate almost to the minute on how long it's going to take you to get from A to B. But you need to add a lot of time to that because accidents, all sorts of things can fall in your way. But never, ever be late for an interview. So, Aldo, Ideal has got a question here. Let me just bring that onto the screen. Excuse me. Welcome back, Aldo. Thanks for coming in again. Ideal length of a resume for a mature professional. So the rule of thumb in writing resumes is never, ever, ever for somebody with more than say 6 or 7 years have more of a one pager. You need to have either a 2-page or a 3-page. Now the rule of thumb in writing resumes is don't go to 2.5 or 2 1/3 or 2 3/4. Fill pages. You, Aldo, I know I was looking at your LinkedIn profile the other day. You need to have a 3 full-page resume. Sell yourself. This is your chance to sell and tell stories. And there again, I've got plenty of videos on my YouTube channel, although you may as well subscribe and you will find a plethora of a wealth of information on my YouTube channel. But great question. Thanks for bringing it up today. So, never be late in submitting your resume, and never be late for an interview. Next one is not prepared for an interview. So many people just walk in at blasé and think it's going to be a breeze. No interview is a breeze. It's a meeting of the minds to see whether you are the perfect candidate. So never assume that it's going to be an easy meeting. Always do your research. Always do your research into the interviewer. Hopefully you've got his or her name and you can go and look on their LinkedIn profile. There may be something, you may have gone to the same school or something earlier on in your life, or there may be some connection which is a topic of conversation. It's a resume, an interview is a meeting of the minds. It's a dialogue. It's a conversation to see whether you are a fit for that particular job, that particular company, and that particular culture. So always now customize. So many people don't customize their resume. So the top third of a page is always customizable. You need to customize it to each application. It takes you about 10, 15, 20 minutes. And the rest of the resume is your historical document. It documents your successes. You can't change your successes based on the acronym called STAR: situation, task, action, result. But you can change the priority of those STAR stories. So Aldo's got another question. Great, Aldo. I love you coming in and asking questions. So let me bring one up. I have problems with the ATS picking up my resume skills. What are the proper delimiter to use to separate my skills in my education and skills section? That's a good question. I'm not too sure on how to answer that because that is in itself is a full-time or full presentation. But you need to picking up my skills. What is a proper delimiter to separate my skills in my education and skill section? So your skills section, your soft skills and your hard skills always goes on the first page in the top third of the page. Generally, there's no rule of thumb here. Generally, your education will fall at the bottom of either page 2 or page 3. So I hope I've just given you a very, very 64,000 feet synopsis of an answer to the question you are asking. But your education will fall on the third page or second page at the bottom, but your skills, your hard skills and your soft skills will go in the top third of the first page. Although, if you want a free, no obligation resume critique, I'm more than happy to give you a free, no obligation resume critique. Email it to me and we'll spend half an hour together either on Zoom or the phone, and I will go through your resume from top to bottom and you can ask for some further questions. So customize your resume for each job. Now, this is something's very important. HR professionals and executive recruiters are telling me the bulk of the resumes they receive, those candidates or potential candidates, people who have applied, don't have any relevance to that job. They don't have the skill sets. They don't have the knowledge to fulfill that job. So don't waste your time. And don't waste the career influencers' time by applying for jobs. Be very, very particular. So don't apply for jobs where you aren't qualified. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, although I'll be look forward to receiving your resume and we can work together. I'll give you a free resume critique. So the next one is failure to network. The bulk of the jobs in the Western world, doesn't matter where you are through hidden jobs. They're not advertised. They're not through executive recruiters. They are hidden jobs. So you need to be getting out and networking, whether it be in person or using all the various platforms that are available to you right today. Obviously, the number one by a long shot is LinkedIn, but you can use Twitter. I've had many clients land through being active on Twitter, and believe it or not, several clients, actually more than several, many clients again, through being active on Facebook, or a combination of all those three. Those are the platform, the social media networks. And then, of course, you need to network in person, but be targeted. Don't go to a networking group that is out of your skill set or out of your area where you want to steer your career. So failure to network. Next one, and the final one in this presentation, Tuesdays at 2 today, is failure to send a thank you note. So a thank you note as you wrap up the job search and the interview is very, very important. Not a thank you note by email, but a thank you note writing. Get some good cards, some good thank you notes, and actually hand write a thank you note. Question for you. When was the last time you received a thank you note? Probably a long time ago. You might not even be able to remember it, but snail mail is cheap and it generates terrific rewards. You get that in your hand, and that brings your name to the top of the list. It's mind games as well. So send a thank you note. And is there something that you want to reiterate that wasn't quite accomplished in the interview? There's your chance to re-engage with the career influencer. So failure to send a thank you note. What not to do in a job search. Another question from Aldo. Let's bring this up again. Great, thank you, Aldo, for asking these questions. How to properly approach my network if I would like to let them know I want to change jobs? Well, that's a great question. So changing jobs, if you are gainfully employed, is normally you want to do it in confidence. So because you don't want your current employer to find out. So it's your risk tolerance to being found out. you're looking for a job. By the way, you should always be looking for a job. But when you're doing it gainfully employed, you have to be sort of covert, hidden away. But you can't be as vocal and as open as you can when you're in career transition. So I don't know whether you're actually in career transition, Aldo, or whether you are actually gainfully employed. But be careful, because one of those persons in your network might be connected to your boss. And unfortunately, we are in a society where people like to pull people out, and that could cause you, they can't fire you for being on a job search, but they can make your life uncomfortable. So you're currently employed. Okay, so you need to be very prudent. What I would do, and putting on my career coach's hat, is you need to target the companies you want to go and work for. You must have a set of companies, maybe 20 or 30 companies you hold in high esteem. You like their product, you like their service offering, you like their culture, and you want to go and work for them. So you find, using LinkedIn and other tools, the boss or your boss's boss, and start networking with him or her. So that, I hope that does help you. Did I receive thank you notes? There you go. Never buy a snail mail. So that about wraps up my Tuesdays at 2. I'm more than happy, as I offered. Here's my cat here. Let me get my cat. She normally I put her away, but she wants to come and have a say here. Her name is Charlotte. Say hello to everybody. You see everybody? So yeah. Normally I tell people to send their resume for a free critique or a free LinkedIn audit. I'm more than happy to give anybody a free LinkedIn audit. I will go again. One mistake on a LinkedIn audit. I saw some terrible spelling mistakes today. It was shocking. Well, first impressions count. That person, they couldn't even spell their company name right. So what does that tell me? And then I also has, as I've alluded to, a YouTube channel. So I'm happy to, I would be pleased if you go to my YouTube channel and press the subscribe button and press the bell button, where you will be notified of any particular video that's coming down the pipeline. So free resume critique, free LinkedIn audit. And I will be back next week for another Tuesdays at 2, when my topic next week, number 97, will be 5 interview tips. So I sort of alluded today, talking a little bit about interviews. It's very, very important. You only get one kick of the can. First impressions count. You need to be totally 120% prepared for an interview. So I will give you some tips and tricks on interview tips. So I'm looking forward to seeing you next Tuesday. I do have my career tips for a crazy world this Friday. It's a 1 minute, very fast, quick tip. I haven't even decided what I'm going to talk about, but quick tip on a career tip. And Friday at 2 p.m., Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So anybody got any further questions? Thanks, Aldo, for your input. More than happy to answer any questions. And I look to providing you, Aldo, with a free, no obligation resume critique and LinkedIn audit. Have a great week. Always manage your career. You need to manage your career 365 days of the year, 24/7. Because we are in a fluid society, and that big R word, recession, is getting closer. You never know what's going to happen to your career. So manage your career now, and that will loosen or lessen the impact if you are let go during a recession. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week at Tuesdays at 2.